Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Roughing the Competition. My name is Brant, and this is Trevor.
And today we're going to take a look at the last part of our Outlook series. Now, this is going to be where we examine the chances of a few teams that are not part of the Power 5 conferences, but still have an outsider's chance at making this playoff run. Now, to kick things off here, we're going to take a look at the remaining four. There's only 4 undefeateds left that aren't Power 5 teams that have a shot. We have USF, UCF, Cincinnati, and Notre Dame. So we're going to quickly break down each one, how we have them finishing the season, and examine their profile real quick, see if there's a reason why they should even be considered for the playoff chance.
Now, first team we're going to be looking at Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And they have games against Temple, SMU, Navy, USF, UCF, and ECU.
Yeah.
Now, I don't have them losing until they get to UCF at the end of the season.
Okay.
I just don't think that schedule is that hard for them to beat.
Yeah, which I mean, on my end, I got the same thing. I have them losing to UCF right before the end of the year. So with that said, this team's going to finish 11-1, which that loss will knock them out of playoff contention. But real quickly, I mean, they've already picked up key wins at UCLA and Ohio. That's not great wins, but they did try and schedule with those two teams. So at least they tried to make a profile here. But we won't spend a lot of time on this team. We'll just say, Luke Fickell, good job in your second year. You deserved a head coaching opportunity a lot sooner than this, but getting it done with the Bearcats, looking good. So let's look at USF real quick. Now I'll kick it off here. USF has games left with Tulsa, UConn, Houston, Tulane, Cincy, Temple, and UCF. Now, I honestly don't have them finishing well here. I have them finishing 8-4. Their only key wins are Georgia Tech and Illinois, which doesn't give me any hope. Illinois was on the road, but it was by 6 points. Georgia Tech was 11-point win. That ain't nothing to write home to mom about. Do you have them finishing any better?
One game better. I do have them beating Temple. Okay. I think that you have them losing to Temple.
I do have them losing their last 3.
Other than that, I do have them losing to Houston, Cincy, and UCF here towards the end of the season. I don't think they're that great, and those wins aren't that.
Yeah, they're not impressive at all. USF, you're going to finish nice at 8-4, but fortunately, you're on the same side of the conference as UCF and Cincy.
9-3.
It's bad luck. And you're the only one of those two to play Houston during the season. That's even worse luck.
Yeah.
All right, so let's look at a real contender here. Your defending national champions, UCF. Now, their remaining schedule shakes out with them having a date with Memphis, then Eastern Carolina, Temple, Navy, Cincy, and ending the season with South Florida. Now, those of you who've already seen this week's edition of our preview for the games knows that I have UCF losing to Memphis. And I don't see that changing. Memphis is going to run all day. That ball carrier has 100 more yards on the season than even Jonathan Taylor at Wisconsin. And he's done it on 50 less carries. So I think UCF's going to get a rotten surprise there. But don't worry, UCF fans. You're going to finish 11-1. You're going to win out and probably have a date with Houston in the conference game.
Well, I don't have them losing at all.
Yeah.
And I actually have them at 13-0 because I think they're going to win that conference championship.
Really?
Regardless. 100%. I don't see them losing to anybody in the American Athletic Conference.
So we might see them pop up in your playoff picture here in a few minutes. We'll take a look.
Wait and see.
Wait and see. Ooh. You're feeling pretty good on that one. All right. With that said, we got one more to look at here. And this is Notre Dame. This is the big dog.
Fighting Irish.
Which, before I say my piece, Brant, what do you think on Notre Dame?
Cupcake schedule the rest of the way. I think
we might disagree on that point, but still, go ahead.
I think they're going to trounce the rest of their competition. I mean, the toughest games they're going to have is Northwestern and Florida State.
Okay.
And maybe USC at the end of the season, but I still, like I said, I don't see them having that much. If they didn't have that much issue with Stanford, I don't see them having that much issue with USC.
Okay. That's fair. I mean, I want to point this profile out because to me, this is, if you're an independent, what you hope your season is. You've already had key wins over Michigan, Stanford, Virginia Tech, so you beat 3 ranked schools. As your season goes on, you get softballs with Pitt and Navy. Now, Navy, I watched that weird option attack, but I think you'll be fine. Northwestern, you're probably going to beat. They're going to put up a fight, but you'll beat them. Florida State, Syracuse, USC, then the season. Now, I know you say cupcake. I disagree. Only because if you're going to get tripped up by a team, that's 3 teams that I'd put on a trip-up list. Florida State's very talented. Syracuse has experience with upsetting teams. We almost saw it with Clemson just a week ago.
Almost.
Then USC. Now, the USC game's rough. I know you say it's cupcake for them, but I think you underestimate that. USC is their rival. Always has been, always will be. Chalk it up, write it down in stone, do whatever you want with it. That's a road game. That means they're going to the Coliseum for that one. Notre Dame has to win that one, and I think they do. I think they're going to finish 12-0 and have probably the most impressive resume in college football because of it. The only one I think compete is probably LSU, which we've already talked about in the SEC edition. But Notre Dame, they run the table. They have the best resume in college football.
Oh, man. I think we're done with evaluating all the conferences.
We are. I am going to make one mention, though, because we're going to go in the playoff edition. I wanted to put App State on this list because I was looking for teams that could have that run. If Penn State does not beat App State at the beginning of the year, they're an undefeated team with a pretty easy schedule in the back half, and we would be talking about them in this discussion. But unfortunately, Penn State held on and beat them, so they're not in this discussion.
Shout out to the other Mountaineer team.
Yeah. All right, so now let's take a look at the playoff side of things. This is our predictions. Okay, Brant's up first.
Woo! Okay, I got Alabama, Ohio State, West Virginia, and Notre Dame.
Okay.
Now, I do have actually Notre Dame at 3 and West Virginia at 4.
Gotcha.
I kind of just thought about that later. Mm-hmm. But my dark horses, Clemson, who is undefeated, UCF, who is undefeated, and Georgia with the 1 loss or 2 losses now.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say. I mean, I got too many undefeated teams, I guess.
You do. You have way too many undefeated teams. So let's not. I will ask you this though: why in the world is Clemson behind West Virginia in your pool?
I think West Virginia had a tougher down the road schedule.
So you're thinking where they're probably going to have a double date with Oklahoma and they still have a date with Texas. I can.
Texas, Oklahoma State. I think that road, if West Virginia can go undefeated in that road, there should be no reason why they should not be in that college football playoff.
Ooh, okay. I can understand that, but mainly because I only see 3 of those teams going undefeated. So let's get mine up. Let's show you what a real playoff looks like.
Okay.
Okay, so I got Ohio State, Notre Dame, Georgia, West Virginia. That's my teams. Ohio State I already talked about. They going around the table. Notre Dame I just talked about. They going around the table. Georgia's going to win the SEC, and before any of you give me crap because they're going to have 2 losses, the SEC champ getting in. Deal with it. It's going to happen. You just got to deal with it. It is life in college football. Okay. And yes, I gave some love to your Mountaineers at 11-1, but these dark horses. Bama, LSU, Michigan. Let's talk on those for a quick sec. Bama, they're going to have 1 loss in my scenario coming into this. And they're going to be left down the cold like we've seen happen to Penn State. We've seen happen to Ohio State. They might sneak in there. This is where I think that FCC power comes in, and we can see them jump West Virginia. LSU is going to be in a similar boat to Bama because of that strength of schedule. Mm-hmm. I mean, their losses are going to be Florida, who's probably going to be 10-2, and then they're going to lose title game Georgia. That's an impressive resume whenever you consider Miami, Auburn, A&M. You beat Bama, you beat Georgia in that process. It's going to be hard to leave you out. The last one's interesting, too. It's Michigan. The reason why Michigan's in here, 2 losses. That's all I got for them. But their 2 losses are 1 and 2. They're going to lose Notre Dame. They lost them to them by 7. Ohio State, they're probably going to lose by 3 or 7. They win that Ohio State game, they're with Notre Dame. They lose that Ohio State game, they're sitting at 7. You kind of go, wow, they're a really good 7. I think this is going to be an interesting race for the second half, so this probably won't be right, but I think it's going to be really close to right.
You got the coach Steelers there at 7.
Oh, stop dissing on Michigan. Stop hating them.
All right, okay.
All right. So, guys, that's going to wrap us up. This is the final outlook of the conferences. We hope you enjoyed them. We'll come back here in a few weeks, take a look at the Heisman race, and probably give you an updated playoff picture and projection. Other than that, I ain't got much to say. Brant, you want to take us home?
Well, follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. And hit that follow, subscribe button over there somewhere. Anyways, have a good one, guys.
Yeah.